let's talk about Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 6, Episode 3. So in today's episode, there were a lot of things that I was like, yes, let's go. I'm loving this. And there were some things I was like, what the hell is happening here? And one of the things that I felt like, what the hell is happening here, was when Kimi and Letitia met up, and she was literally telling Kimi about how Masao literally kicked her out of her office, and she feels very sad about that, and she feels like she was blindsided. She didn't know that was coming. He just got a business partner all of a sudden and kicked her off her office, and I'm like, what were you doing all this while your husband was getting a new partner and you didn't have an idea? It was literally a joke to me. And I feel like, why would she know when she takes her time talking about Melody and other things Melody does than taking her time to look at her husband and face her business and look at the business that she's claiming to be a multi-million business? She didn't take her time looking at that. That was why her husband was able to get another person into the business without her knowing, and she now feels blindsided. You were not. You just decided to be blind on your own. Your husband didn't blindside you. You decided to just be blinded by yourself. Now, as they were in the talk, Melody called Kimi and was like, I know you are in your recovery, and I wanted to be sure that you can go for massages, She wanted to be sure that it's not going to affect her chemo and her health. And all of a sudden, she wanted to talk to Melody. Like, I felt like that didn't make sense. She was talking to somebody else, and all of a sudden you wanted to talk to her. Please make it make sense to me, because it's not making sense to me. You wanted to talk to her, and why didn't you call her or try to get to her, DM her or anything? You waited for her to call somebody else, then you collected your phone and you were like, oh, I want to. I'm literally happy that Melody decided to accept her and was like, okay, yes, I will come. Because I know if Melody there and there had said, I was not interested, I am not coming, it would have been another ball game. We would have had another version, another reunion of how Melody denied coming to an event that she organized. It would be an ongoing beef, an ongoing situation that would have been happening all through the season. So I like the way that Mel didn't give her a chance to talk or see a way to bash her about that. Another thing that didn't go well with me was the fact that when Masao, Letitia, and the kids were having, dinner, and Masao just blotted it out there that the mom was, how do they like their mom's cooking? And we're like, it was good. And from nowhere, he just said, don't worry, enjoy it while it lasts, because your mom has decided that she doesn't want you guys to be enjoying this that much, because she has decided to put other things as her priorities. That went like, that is kind of narcissistic to me. That is not a right way to say about somebody, especially your wife, when she decided that, okay, I want to start off this business, it's a passion of mine, and I want to be really into it. And all of a sudden, he's dismissing it and feeling as if she's not going to have time for the kids. She that decided that she wanted to go on that venture, she literally knows that she would have to, she should have known that, okay, there's a time I have to divide myself, time management of herself to be able to still have time for her kids. Him trying to dismiss it like now that she has a job, everything is going to end the way, like the things they do before is going to end all of a sudden. It was like, I didn't understand why he would say that. And this episode, I literally congratulated the kids, especially her son, for standing up to his father and saying, as in, all the kids really did well. As in, the kids were like, what of you, dad? You're talking about mom facing or having passion for her job. What of you? If you're trying to say she should stay at home and cook and do all those things, what of you? Must it always be the lady or the woman that would have to give up her plans or her future for the family? I literally love the fact that the son and the children stood up for Latisha, because at that moment it looked as if she could not stand up for herself. At that moment, it looked as if she could not explain herself to her husband and tell the husband, this is the reason why I feel like I want to push this stuff. I want to start this new venture, and I feel like you should respect my own opinion, respect what I'm being through and what I want to go through. Like, he was even surprised the son stood for her. I was like, I love what the son said. He said, I will never, as in, I did not expect a spouse to talk to another spouse like that. Like, that was plain truthful. It was very wrong for him to have said that kind of stuff about Latisha. It was upsetting in different ways. And I am proud of the children, and I'm glad that they are seeing it in that perspective, because that means they are growing up well. Irrespective of the house they are in, they are growing up very well. Another thing that I did not understand was why Kiki was brought into this girl's mind, because it felt as if they brought her there to bully her, to subdue her, because the comments and the talks and the side talks about Kiki was literally upsetting. But one thing I'm proud of the way that Kiki brought herself up. Kiki was strong not to allow the comments and the talks they were having to subdue her. Because I don't understand why the teacher was saying, oh, she likes to act smart. She thinks she's the smart one. And I love the fact Kiki was like, yeah, I know I'm smart. Why would you have to say that? You literally brought her there. You're trying to tell her, let's try to see how we can move forward from all the hurt we've hurt ourselves. And you are busy saying comments like that. Please make that make sense to me, because that doesn't make sense. Tiffany just told herself, I am going to make the situation very awkward. I'm going to make Kiki the focus of my hate. And she tried that with Melody, because Melody was also there. I'm going to say, this was the best moment in today's episode. The way when they brought up the issue and they expected Melody to talk, and Stormi was like literally, I don't know whether you watched the episode, but Stormi was like literally looking at Melody, waiting for her. You know, they're waiting for her to just say one fucked up thing that they will use against her all through the season. The gossip about her, about it, how bad she is, how she's a devil's incarnate, how she's a sheep, and a devil in a sheep clothing. And she didn't give them that. She literally was like, oh, are we talking about my Christmas party? Okay, the only thing is that I love the peace, the quiet, you know, the tranquility here. She literally told them, I am not interested in that conversation, without having to say, I am not interested. And I don't think Tiffany got the info. And the way Tiffany was like goading Melody, and the way Stormi put her head down looking at Melody, to waiting for her to talk, I feel like they wanted to set her up to say something bad. Later on, they'll now go back to Kiki or go back to Latisha and be like, oh, Melody said this about you. Melody said this about you. They will then make her as the evil person. I love that she didn't give them. Then somebody going to her confessionals and like, oh, and Tiffany was saying this thing with Kiki and with Melody, and Melody wasn't interested, and she was like, what were you expecting her to say? Talk trash about Kiki when she has already said that Kiki and her are friends? Or talk trash about Latisha so that tomorrow you're gonna go and say one fucked up thing about Latisha, say, oh, Latisha, Melody said this about you. People should stop trying to make her be a bad person when she's literally not a bad person. I'm happy that she did not say a word. Like, she was as mute comes. That is what I did like. Now where they were there, they had because Latisha, Kiki, and Kimi were in a different room. They started hearing talks about Stormi and what Stormi really said about Masao and Maurice, which was true. She did say that. And from nowhere, everybody was rushing, okay, I want to hear that about me. And Stormi was making, oh, I want to hear what you have to say about Stormi. And I literally liked what Kiki said about Kimi, that they focused more on what Kiki said and did not talk about what Stormi said. Even Tiffany, Kiki didn't say so much bad things about Latisha in that party like Stormi did say. She talked about how Maurice and Masao is not, Masao is like a big cheater. So why are you focusing on Kimi? I understand where she was coming from, and Stormi was coming in hot, Tiffany was coming in hot, like they wanted to beat her up. Like, but I know Kiki is a very strong lady. She was gonna stand up for herself no matter what they were doing. And I love that she literally stood up for herself and she did not allow them to make her for a joke. And Stormi would just have snacky comments saying when Kiki was talking was like, oh, she's pregnant though. Yeah, she's pregnant, so and what? You're pregnant doesn't give you an allowance to do whatever you want to do, say what you want to say, you know, react to how you want to react, then not expecting a reaction from the other person. Stormi saying that comment about Tiffany being pregnant to Kiki did not make sense. Please, Stormi, make that make sense to me, saying that Tiffany is pregnant. The pregnancy hasn't stopped her from running her mouth the way she has been running it since the spa date started. She hasn't stopped running her mouth for a pregnant woman. So why is it that when someone is trying to give her a response to what she's saying, you're now asking them to respect the fact that she's pregnant? Please, let's just be sincere. Let's just be truthful. Well, I expected us for them to show us the full, ending part of that drama, but they say it's to be continued. Let's just hope we'll see how that will end by next week. But don't forget to like and comment, and I'll see you guys same time next week.